welcome back to the Mike and Andrew Show. I'm Andrew Serwick here again with Mike Meredith. Mike, we got some pretty big news yesterday concerning just the NFL, and we're gonna get all into that, of course. But how you doing this evening, man?
I'm doing good, man.
It's good to hear. So yeah, let's jump right into it, into the NFL. Jared Goff getting an extension done with the Lions, 4 years, $212 million. That's an average of $53 million a year, $170 million guaranteed. Now, this contract doesn't go into effect this season. It goes into effect the season after. So, we still have Goff at his, I think, like 25 or whatever million this season. So this extension doesn't go into effect yet. But I like this signing a lot. I mean, you look at the numbers, he's now the second highest paid quarterback in the league right now. He's making Justin Herbert money. But here's the thing is Jared Goff actually deserves it. Justin Herbert hasn't won anything, and people are acting like, this Jared Goff signing isn't worth it. He's not that good. He's not mobile, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. He knows how to play quarterback. He hits his guys that he needs to hit when he needs to hit them. Yeah, he might not be mobile, but not every quarterback needs to be mobile to be
Yeah,
good.
that's
That's the biggest thing.
that's so true, man. Someone from my work actually put it really well. I was talking with him today about the Goff signing. He was like, "Yeah, we could have, paid Jared Goff last year and maybe saved 7 or 8 mil a year on his deal, but we waited until he can prove that he can do something. He won us 2 playoff games this year, and that contract, yeah, he's second highest paid right now, but the cap's going up like crazy. Pretty soon, give it 3, 4 years. By the time his contract's done, he'll be like middle of the league. Like he'll be like maybe like 8 to 10 highest paid. New guys will start getting their contracts as well. Just how it goes with these quarterbacks.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is the cap keeps going up every year. I mean, it went up 13.7% this year compared to last year. And what's just wild about that is it's expected to make that jump again this year. Conservatively, it's looking about 10%. And very aggressive estimates have it at about 14.5%, but it's projected to be about another 13-ish percent increase in salary cap. So if you really think about it, first of all, the salary cap in the NFL doesn't exist. It just does not exist.
Mm-mm.
And we don't need to be worried because now we have Sewell and St. Brown locked down for many years. Hutchinson's still on his rookie deal. They just picked up his 5th-year option as well, I believe. So he's going to be around long term. I mean, we have a ton of great pieces. The window for the Lions right now is wide open to win the Super Bowl, and I think Jared Goff completely deserves this contract. I mean, he is top 5 in yards last year, top 5, I believe, in touchdowns as well. And I believe he was also top 5, if I'm not mistaken, in completion percentage. And he led the league in passes for 20 yards or more. So, I mean, he completely deserves this. He's very easily a top 8 quarterback right now. I mean, he's not a Patrick Mahomes, but nobody else in the league is a Patrick Mahomes. He is solidly in that tier 2 of quarterbacks, and tier 1 is only Patrick Mahomes in there. So I mean, he's definitely up there with Joe Burrow, with Justin Herbert in terms of just quality quarterbacks. I mean, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. He completely deserves this. And I don't understand the people that don't. I mean, people just want Hendon Hooker because he can run, but you don't need to run to be good in the NFL as a quarterback. You don't have to be Lamar or Patrick Mahomes. You just don't. You can just sit in the pocket and throw like Tom Brady and be the best quarterback to ever play the game. It's really I don't understand. People want these highlight real quarterbacks, but not everyone is a highlight reel quarterback. If you just sit back and you pass and do what you need to do as a quarterback in the passing game, you're going to be a great quarterback, and that is what Jared Goff does.
Yeah, if we can get the Goff that was I forget how many games it was or how long the streak was where he didn't throw an interception. Just get that Jared Goff, because there's times where Goff can be erratic, but for the most part, he's pretty calm and, uh, just like you said, finding open guys. We locked down St. Brown. That's going to be his main target for many years. I think it's going to be good for us. We'll see how it goes. I know a lot of people wanted to see improvement, but Goff, I mean, like I said, he showed out last year. It shows in the statistics and the playoff wins.
From so from last season, from that after the 1-6 start, right? The From that game to the end of this season, he was top 3 in basically every statistic. I mean, he has been extremely consistent. He has one of the least amount of interceptions in that time period. Um, One of the league leaders in yards. He's just incredibly consistent. And here's the other thing that a lot of people are afraid to admit: he has more playoff wins than both Lamar and Burrow combined. So I mean, come on now. He's a great quarterback. He may not be, the unicorn that is Patrick Mahomes, but he is definitely an elite level quarterback. I mean, I think he's better than Dak Prescott. He has more He has more playoff wins than Dak Prescott, but people act like Dak is the second coming of Christ, which he's far from that. But and it's mostly Cowboys fans that think that he's the second coming of Christ. But still, I mean,
He's better than Brock Purdy.
He's better than Brock Purdy. He's better than Lamar. Lamar might be able to run, but Lamar doesn't throw as good as Jared Goff. He doesn't have the completion percentage that Jared Goff has. He doesn't have the accuracy Jared Goff has. And here's the thing is, Jared Goff isn't the reason why the Lions lost that game against the 49ers in the NFC title game. I mean, he hit his man multiple times, and they just dropped the ball in critical situations. His man was wide open. He hit him right in the hands, just dropping balls. If a lot of things could have gone differently in that game, but not one of them is anything that Goff had to do with. So, I mean, he had them definitely minutes away from, going to the Super Bowl for the first time in Lions history. And I think this is the year for the Lions to do it. I think the Lions can, and the window's open now. All the pieces are in place for the Lions. I think this is just a great all-around deal for the Lions right now.
Yes, sir. I agree.
So moving on from that, we're going to talk about the NBA draft lotteries. Mike, I'm going to let you take this over here, but very, very interesting drawing that we had this year.
Yeah, it was. As most people know, the draft this year is just not that great. It's probably the weakest draft since the 2013 draft, which that's a very infamous draft for being like the weakest draft maybe in NBA history. Giannis came out of that draft, but he was a project. No one suspected him to be as good as he is. And you take his name out of there, and the 2013 draft was filled with a bunch of role players and subpar stars that ended up fading away after a couple years of some good seasons. But this year, the Pistons again, for the third straight year, fall to pick number 5, bro. So the Pistons fall again. And the Atlanta Hawks, with a 3% chance to win the lottery, they were a play-in team this year. They won the lottery. So, the Hawks get the first pick. Right now it's looking like Alex Sarr, center. He's from France. So, how Victor Wembanyama last year, this 7'5" center who can do everything. Alex Sarr's not as good of a prospect, not even close, but he's still a pretty solid center. I mean, it's not like this draft isn't going to have stars, because, I mean, every draft has at least a 1 or 2 stars, but just prospect-wise, looking at this compared to the prospects of even just last year's draft, it's just not close. But we'll see. It just sucks for the Pistons that they had to fall, but, we've kind of just not really been building a good team there. Like, Cade's probably going to leave after this rookie contract. I don't know how much longer Jaden Ivey's going to stay. we're getting worse every year. Like we went from 17 wins to 14 wins. The only bright spot on our team right now looks like to be Jalen Duren.
We
He's
went from
averaging,
we went from 23 to 17 to 14. I mean, that's really
yeah,
bad.
yeah. So we're actually regressing, even though we're getting more draft capital. Yeah, Jalen Duren's probably the one bright spot on our team right now. Um, that's that we can build around. But like Jalen Duren, while he's really good, and he's still super young. He's only 20 years old. He's not going to be a franchise guy. So yeah, Pistons got a long way to go, man. They got a long way to go before we get good again.
Yeah, they have a long way to go. It sucks that the fucking Hawks got the goddamn first pick, man. After being a play-in team, you should not be eligible for the number one pick. I mean that's just ridiculous. I know damn well if the NHL had a play-in tournament, which please never do that. NHL, please don't. Those teams wouldn't be eligible for it anyways. I mean, anyone outside the top 10 anyways can't get the first overall pick unless of course they trade for it, but that's a different story. But no, as far as the Pistons go, man, if it doesn't matter that we dropped to 5 because one, this draft class is extremely just god awful, right? And it doesn't matter anyways because we still have Troy Weaver running things, and Troy Weaver is the worst GM probably in sports right now. Along with the worst owner in sports, Tom Gores, who doesn't give a fuck about the team, clearly. So I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's gonna be a shitty pick anyways because we have Troy Weaver as our GM. It's gonna be a shit pick. So I just, as a Pistons fan, I don't really care, that we dropped to 5, just mainly because of the fact that the pick would be terrible anyways. It just would work out that way. And there's no depth in this class anyways. I say just trade back and draft Bronny so we can bring LeBron to the Motor City. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, it'd be pretty funny. I don't even know who's going to draft Bronny. He actually had a pretty good combine. He did the combine, the NBA combine, which isn't really taken as seriously as the NFL combine, but he had a 40-inch vertical. I mean, that's something.
Yeah, that's about all he has, though. I mean, he's got a little bit of speed to him, but just he averaged I think 4.2 points a game at USC. I mean, come on now, man.
Yeah,
You ain't ever gonna be your dad, buddy. You ain't ever gonna be your dad.
not even close. Even if he does end up being better than expected, I think at best he's a role player in the NBA. He could be a solid role player. That's about the ceiling that he's going to get to.
I think he'll just be a solid bench warmer in the NBA. I mean, dude, this kid is not good, man. But yeah, so that's gonna wrap up that topic. But let's just stay with the NBA. Let's talk a little bit more NBA playoffs since we're talking NBA already, Mike. So what's been going on over the weekend? Because I haven't really watched because I've been glued to my screen watching the NHL playoffs because man, it's been wild.
Yeah, I mean NBA has been crazy too. So we brought up last week that the Timberwolves were looking like the best team in basketball. They were running away with it. And that just totally flipped around in 2 games. So they went up 2-0 on the road in Denver. And we were like, okay, Minnesota, man, they look great. They could sweep the series. Nope. Denver came out and became Denver again, the defending champs. And they got tied back up 2-2. And Jokic is showing why he's the MVP of this league. I mean, he just dropped 35 on the Defensive Player of the Year. It's so weird. Rudy Gobert, he's won 4 Defensive Player of the Years, and he's always a defensive anchor in the regular season, but when playoff time comes around, he's a defensive liability. It's insane how much of a change regular season to playoffs Rudy Gobert brings. And Timberwolves, man, I mean, if they lose next game, that's going to be so tough. After going up 2-0, then lose the next 3, that's going to hurt, man. But yeah, basically anyone who was counting out Denver, they're back in it. OKC and Dallas is tied 2-2. That was an interesting series. OKC won the first game, then Dallas won the second, then Dallas ended up winning the third with Kyrie Irving hitting a crazy shot at the end to win it. And then last game, Dallas had a chance to go up 3-1, and they missed a ton of free throws in the game. They missed some crucial free throws at the end of the game that could have tied it, and Oklahoma City won that game. So that's going to be a really good series. That one could go 7 games. I had the Thunder winning, but Dallas, if they are on their game, they could win that series. Looks like Boston's probably going to close out here pretty soon. They're up 3-1 right now. Cavs' best player, Donovan Mitchell's been dealing with some injuries. I think that they're probably going to win and move on. And then the Knicks, man. Knicks and Pacers, that's been a crazy series. So on Mother's Day, they had the Knicks-Pacers game on, and the Pacers just blew out the Knicks from the very start of the game. So it's 2-2 right now. Again, a series that could go either way. The Knicks probably still have the advantage, but yeah, I think the only team right now that's like secured to pretty much move on is Boston, but every other series is kind of up in the air right now.
Yeah, I think Boston, they're just so good, man. I mean, the favorite to win it all this year, and I mean, it's showing in the playoffs. I know like the Knicks and Pacers has been a good series. I mean, everyone here in Indy's been talking about it, and it's just surprised that Indy's even been able to hang on with the Knicks this year. But I would not be shocked to see the Pacers win this series though. They've been playing very very aggressively, and I like the way they've been playing, but. Yeah, no, these playoffs so far have been very, very interesting, and then obviously the Timberwolves, man. I mean, what the hell happened there? I mean, they were up 2-0 on the road against Denver, and then they shit the bed.
Yeah. It's not over yet for them. If they come back and win the series, then it'll be all right. But yeah, I mean, it's a series now. Minnesota does not have the upper hand right now. If anything, the momentum's in Denver's favor right now.
Yeah, the defense completely collapsed the last 2 games. I mean, they have not been playing that extremely solid defense that really they've been playing all year, but especially in those first 2 games of this series where they were just all over everyone defensively. Um, the defense just isn't there anymore, and I can't explain why. But it's like there's very little effort now for some reason in that defensive zone for them, which is very, very unusual for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, interesting playoffs for sure, and the semifinals are going to be insanely good, except for maybe in the East. I think Boston's probably going to beat whoever ends up winning between the Knicks and the Pacers, but man, I think it would still be a good series, just not as good as whatever we end up with in the West, because the West, man, is just so insanely good this year.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, just really, really good. And can't be said about the NHL, though. The West is not that good this year, but the East has been a bloodbath over the last 4 or 5 years, and every year it just gets more and more tough in that Eastern Conference. And while the Western Conference is getting a little bit more difficult, there's the level of skill in the Eastern Conference is just way, way higher right now in the NHL. So Bruins are up 2-1 right now in Game 5. Florida leading that series 3-1. Boston needs to get a win tonight on the road for them. It's going to be tough. But yeah, they lose tonight. Their season's over, and Florida will move on. And God, I fucking hope Florida wins this game. I just want Florida to have plenty of rest time to face whoever they end up playing between the Canes and the Rangers. And this has been the most wild series, I think, so far. New York went up 3-0 to start the series, but the Canes have won the last 2 now. People are talking, is it the reverse sweep coming? Here's the thing: is the Canes have lost all 3 games. They lost by 1 goal. They have been in every single game. They just get goalied at the very wrong time at the end of the periods when they need the goal the most. Shesterkin has just been standing on his fucking head for the Rangers this year. So whoever wins this series is going to have a very, very tough time with Florida because they are just steamrolling everyone they're playing right now. And the way the way these games between New York and Carolina have been being played, it's just going to wear down on these guys a lot, and it's going to be a struggle against a potentially well-rested Panthers squad. Over in the West, though, quite a surprise right now is the Canucks are up 2-1 over Edmonton. And that's not a good thing for Edmonton because they needed to get up to a big lead in this series because Thatcher Demko is going to be back for Game 4. He's been taking shots in practice the last couple days, so and they play tonight. I don't know if he's going to be playing tonight, but if he does, yeah, Edmonton might lose this series because Demko has been elite all year in net. And with Edmonton's lack of defense this year, it's going to get even tougher if Demko's in net over Vancouver. But I'm very surprised Vancouver even did take 2 games. I thought they'd be probably down 2-1 right now. But, yeah, they're looking very strong in all 3 zones of the game. So, I mean, yeah, Vancouver, I think they can steal this series from Edmonton, even though Edmonton has all the offensive power in the world. Vancouver's been able to shut down McDavid for the most part. McDavid has not scored many points in this series. I think he only has 3 points in this series. So Vancouver doing a great job shutting him down. And then speaking of getting shut down, Dallas, they are up 3-1 over the Avalanche right now in that series. Colorado just, I mean, they've been ass at defense all year, and goalie has been a huge question mark all year as well. And it's showing in this series. Dallas has been able to contain Colorado's offense and slow it down just enough to where Dallas's style of offense and defense can really prevail. And it's shown. Ottinger has been standing on his head as well in net for the Stars. So it's going to be interesting. I saw a quote today from Nathan McKinnon. Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, this was he was asked basically a question on their confidence level going into Game 5, which is tomorrow night. And this is the quote. It says, "It's okay, I guess. We just lost 3 in a row. Not scoring much. Just have to work ourselves out of it." Dude he doesn't care. He is clocked out at this point. He just that quote, the way he very unenthusiastically said it, it's telling me that this Avs team is not looking good. And what's wild about this is you look at how they've been playing, and you look and you're just like, this core that they have, Makar, McKinnon, all those guys. It's like these guys won a cup together already, but you see the way that they're playing, and the just lack of effort defensively, and you're like, how the fuck did these guys ever win a cup?
Yeah, for real.
But you got any thoughts on any of these 4 series that you want to hit on real quick, or we want to just pack this thing up, man?
Yeah, I think that you did a good job at reviewing all of those series and just all the possibilities that can come from all the series.
Yeah, I am praying on the New York reverse sweep, so the Canes get the series win there, and then just praying on Boston's downfall as well. Really hoping for the Panthers to just win it all this year, or the Canes. I wouldn't be mad with either one of those winning it, but everyone in the West could fuck off. I mean, the Stars are okay, I guess. Everyone else, I mean, fuck Canada. So, and then I hate Colorado as well. So, the only team in the West I like is Dallas, and I don't really even care for them. I just like them more than anyone else. And then, yeah, I would love to see the Panthers, though, win the cup, man. First cup in franchise history. Would mean a lot. Would mean a lot.
Yeah.
But anyways, so that's gonna wrap us up here today. Thursday's episode, not entirely sure what the plan is there yet, but um, probably going to talk maybe a little bit of baseball because we haven't done that in a while. Torkelson hit his first home run of the season uh, last night.
Finally.
Maybe his bat's starting to warm up. We don't know. I mean, he still can't fucking. He's still afraid to swing at a fastball right down the middle. But, um, we hopefully that can get ironed out there. But so, anyways, guys, rate, review, subscribe, help us out. Let us know what you want to see from us. We're gonna keep cooking things up here. It's kind of, I mean, we still have the playoffs to talk about, so there's a lot to talk about there. Once we get out of the playoffs, though, it's gonna start to lull a little bit because, just we're just waiting for football season. The only thing going on is baseball, so it's going to be a little bit of a lull for a while, but, NBA draft will be coming up eventually. Same with the NHL draft. So we have some stuff coming up in the future. But anyways, thanks again so much for listening, guys, and we will see you guys on Thursday.